Hello and welcome to the Engerati studio. I'm Rose, Head of Commercial Content. I'm joined by Dave Worthington, Managing Director of Verco. Dave, Verco is an energy service management company, and as a company you're quite involved in the policy market development that's going on Europe-wide. Can you tell us a bit more about the investor confidence project that you're heavily involved in?
Sure. So it's an initiative that's attempting to standardise the way that energy efficiency projects are developed. So it was actually originally a US initiative that was developed to meet the needs of some of the big statewide energy efficiency programs there. And there was acknowledgement that projects had been done in lots of different ways. They were generally too small, so there was a need to aggregate them to really make the energy efficiency finance flow. And in order to aggregate, investors wanted things to be done in a standardised fashion. So I was part of a consortium that won a 3-year Horizon 2020 grant to effectively replicate the US approach in Europe. And we've been doing that for the last 3 years. That project ends January 2018. And it's been great. We've worked on lots of pilot projects, had lots of consultation with different parts of the industry, the investor community, the developer community, and the sort of professional advisors as well. So what we've got now is a framework that has a standardised approach, which is what it's all about, to how projects are developed, and then there's a certificate that basically demonstrates that best practice is being followed. And the other element of that is that you have accredited providers, so you have project developers that have been through some sort of check that they have the right experience, they have the right insurance cover. We check references, so we set a pretty high bar to make sure that we really do have a good level of quality in the market. And then separately you have some independent quality assurers that are trawling through all the documentation and making sure that you've got best practice in that project. So my company's been trialling this quality assurance process, but we've also been helping train the wider market on the developer side and the QA side.
Do you feel it's quite robust? Is it ready to be scaled up?
Yes, it's had lots of consultation. We've done quite a few pilots now of different project scales and types. So it's certainly fit for purpose. The key barrier is still getting people for whom energy efficiency sort of isn't their day job to really engage enough to sign off projects and sort of take the leap. I think experience is once project owners or do their first project and sort of get going with their energy efficiency, sort of success breeds success, and they can reinvest money that's made into future projects. But it's really getting people over that initial hurdle where they're maybe just not familiar with these projects. And again, the variety doesn't help. The renewables market is quite different. One wind turbine is more or less the same as another. They're just big ones and small ones. Same with solar panels. Whereas energy efficiency is such a sort of a disparate, heterogeneous sector, which just means that people really have to get into the subject matter to understand it. And we find that there are good projects and bad projects, and again, if you're trying to aggregate, it doesn't take many bad projects to really undermine people's confidence in the outputs.
So a bad project would be it just doesn't offer the returns that were promised.
That's right. And one of the things with energy efficiency is you have to have mechanisms that allow for change, because change will be almost guaranteed in the life of a building and the life of energy efficiency projects. So change can happen, so the actual savings can be different from what was forecasted, as long as that the change is kind of evaluated in a robust way and everyone was clear on the rules of the game at the start. I think what typically makes a bad project is people working on it that don't have the right expertise or experience. And there's lots of great providers in the market, but there's also, I think, a huge variety of quality. So again, that's another reason why we're trying to bring this sort of consistent level of quality and standardisation.
So conversely, what makes a good project?
Yeah, well, it is experienced people. They've they really understand the technology, they understand how to deal with the various stakeholders, clearly and transparently explain the projects to the project owners at the start, work with the investors to make sure that everyone understands the risks. There are happily plenty of those. Simplicity is generally a lot of what makes a good project, but then, as I mentioned earlier, that some level of complexity is part and parcel of the energy efficiency market. So it's a really fine balance. It's trying to bring just enough simplicity to allow things to go ahead, but not going too far, so that you end up compromising on quality.
Let's think about the technology. You're obviously assessing different solutions. What are we seeing coming up that's getting you excited?
So I think the really exciting thing is starting to move to a world where people are addressing the sort of price, time and volume kind of triangle all together. So you can deploy demand side response, controls technology, you can deploy generation technologies and more standard demand reduction, energy efficiency measures all together. And that opens up some really exciting commercial and technical solutions.
Do you work with energy suppliers? Do you have a kind of relationship where you're supporting each other? I mean, or is there friction there?
Yeah, no, there's no friction. On the Investor Confidence Project, we've been helping sort of develop this list of accredited or credentialed, using the US term, providers or project developers. So we've been helping train them on that particular scheme. But as Verco, we work with them a lot. We work with our corporate clients in the real estate and in industrial sectors to help them procure these energy services companies to deliver the sort of capital-intensive projects that are typically needed to meet those companies' long-term energy and carbon targets.
So you've been quite heavily involved with SEAF, another Horizon 2020 project. What value do you see has come out of the 2-year period?
So a lot, I think. The most significant area of value is, I think, just been getting the project developer community and the investor community talking together and trying to speak the same language, both on the barriers and working together to unpick those, and then agreeing sort of what a platform like Equal can do to make everyone's life simpler and share information about projects in a more efficient way that ultimately leads to more projects going ahead. So I think the platform itself will make a big difference to the role that we're looking to have as a quality assurance provider. That it'll provide us sort of the right information in the right format, and it'll stop us having to chase around for lots of bits of disparate information. Also, I think, make it clearer to the project developers what information they need to provide up front. I think the platform should allow all of this discussion and sort of interaction between those two sort of worlds to continue on a sort of online basis. So we're looking forward to seeing it really properly rolled out and having a successful life in the market.
Thank you for joining us, Dave. You can watch plenty more of our energy efficiency videos on our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.